republic for which it stands.
One nation, under God.
Indivisible.
With liberty and justice for all.
Guns, self-defense, concealed carry. This is the Patriot Defense Podcast. From the war room in Idaho's high desert, here's your host, Todd Echols.
And I am back once again. Today it is actually Tuesday morning, and I am tucked away in the war room somewhere in the high desert of southern Idaho. And I'm a couple days late from the weekend, which is when I usually do the podcast. But if you really want to get look at the little details and get a little nitpicky with me, I was supposed to do one like a week and a half ago, and I never did. But I am back. You know it is. You know how it is. I'm not going to just continue to sit here and make excuses, because I can make excuses all day long. But anyhow, I am back now, and so I guess you'll just get them when you get them. And I'm going to shoot for every weekend, but sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes I get lazy. Sometimes I get busy. That's just kind of just the way it is. So not much. Well, I mean, we have quite a bit of stuff going on around here. And I mean, nothing super exciting. Just keeping up with the classes. Got a lot of classes happening. Kind of think back here, and as I'm getting older, my memory fades here, and I got to take some notes. One of the bigger classes that I had was a church group came by. They scheduled. They scheduled their class probably a couple months ago, and they came out over the weekend, and there was a group of about 8 of them, 8 guys, and they are the security team for their church. And so they've got a guy that was kind of leading that up, and then he contacted me. He is retired law enforcement, but he wanted to have some help training his guys, and he wanted to get in on the training himself. So we put together a draw and shoot type class for them. And, you know, we touched on the basic fundamentals. And I say we. It was me, and then Magnum joined in, and he likes to come over and help. And so I used his hand, and it was great, because when you do the draw and shoot, it's, as I've mentioned before on here, as an instructor, it's one of the most... you got to pay attention a lot, right? It can be one of the more dangerous things to teach. You got a bunch of guys who have never maybe, drew their gun, and, they didn't know how to draw their gun and fire it safely, right, in the correct way. And then the reholstering is always something you got to watch on. So, a Magnum came, and he showed up, and he had half the group, and I had half the group, and we were able to kind of just spread them all out and get them through it safely, and everyone learned a lot, and great group of guys. And it's very interesting, and I was telling them that, when I have someone get hold of me and say, hey, I have this church group that wants to show up, that I want them to come take a class, and they're on the security team, and you never know what you're going to get. You're going to get a mixed bag, right? You just don't know. Some people maybe have taken classes. Some people haven't. It is what it is. You just don't know these people's, even experience levels when they show up. So I was surprised. It was a... it was a nice surprise. They all showed up, and they were all pretty well squared away, and we had a good day, a good afternoon, and lots was learned, and everyone had a great time. I will say one of them in there, and I'm not picking on this individual. He did a great job, and he could shoot his gun fantastic, but he carried a long slide Glock. Now I don't know the model number. I mean, I think this one was a 9, but man, I tell you what, those long slide Glocks, they sure look funny. And I asked him why. I said, hey, why the long slide Glock? Why not like a 17 or a 19 or something like that? And he's like, why not? And that was the gun. He could shoot it well. I'll give him that. I mean, I'm not really picking on him, but I don't know that I understand the long slide Glock. I just, unless you're doing like competition or just bullseye shooting at the range type of thing, I just don't know that I get it. I think even drawing the gun would just be a little, I don't know, man. Long slide. They're funny to me. So maybe someone else knows. Maybe someone else has one of those, and you guys could fill me in. I just don't understand it. But also, my wife, we had winter come and go, and now we're warming up a little bit. So my wife's getting back out on the range with me, and she likes it. She has her own personal instructor. right? So we go out there which she doesn't have to pay for, which we go out there and I'm working with her on up in her shooting game, which is a really nice surprise. And we've done this before in the past, but it never completely pans out. We just, life, grandkids, kids, that kind of stuff just gets in the way. So it's, we've been married about 27 years now, and it's just kind of nice that she's showing a little more interest in getting out and doing this. And right now she's using a G43, and it's not one of my favorite guns. In fact, I honestly hate that gun, and I don't know. For me, it doesn't fit me. I'm not the one shooting it, but it's just got that horrible Glock trigger. It just really does. And I'm just not a fan of it. Now, she can shoot it okay, but I think she could shoot something better with a lot better trigger. We did go poke around the gun stores a while back, and she kind of picked up a SIG P365 macro. Now, she's got real little hands, and so some of the standard 365s, the Xs or the XLs, would work out fine for her. But she has found, too, that she doesn't like that. Even though she's got small hands, she likes kind of a thicker, more of a double stack, like thicker gripped firearm. So she picked that up, and she kind of liked that. Now I have not had her out to shoot that yet. So I'm just, I'm looking into that, and it's something that she kind of likes. And, honestly, I have not seen a P365 macro come through my class yet. Or I would definitely shoot it myself and see what I think. And then if she was around, get her to shoot it as well. So any thoughts on that? Does anybody have any thoughts on the SIG P365 macro? Has anyone shot it? Is there something out there I'm missing? Because I know, I am, they call me, I did a radio show, they call me the gun guy, but, I got so much more going on as far as with the training and the classes and the keeping the range kept up and the scheduling and everything. I don't always keep track on what's going on with certain models of firearms. And so if you have heard anything, got any opinions on that, just let me know. And I tell you what, you can always interact with me on the social media, on the Instagram, on the Facebook. You can message me either place. You can also clear my voice here. Sorry about that. It's allergy season in Idaho. We've just got through what would I call the pollinating. So there you go. The pollinating. That's a big thing for a guy with allergies, but. You can always get a hold of me. You can call me. You can text me. Area code 620-794-6223. It's area code 620-794-6223. And maybe you're local to me. And if you're local to me and you have one of these guns, maybe we could work out some kind of trade and you could bring it over and I could help you out, shoot it a little. Let my wife take it out for a ride. It's totally up to you. Maybe you've got one. Maybe they're crap. Maybe they just have a bad following right now and bad things are happening with them and I need to know. Please let me know. Another one that I am considering for her as well. And I know there's a Nathan, he listens to this podcast and he might cringe a little when I say this because we've had some discussions a little bit on this gun. But I'm actually kind of looking at the Walther PDP-F. That's the version made for women, made to contour to the hand better, to fit their hand better, and something like that. Because I know it's got a real nice trigger. It's a nice little gun, and I just kind of was wondering how it stacks up to the P365 macro. So I think they're kind of about the same size, I believe. So. It's something I'm looking forward to in the future. I am going to really try and get my wife to whatever she gets. I want to try to buy it and immediately get a red dot and put on there. She's pretty good at the irons. I mean, she can do just fine with the irons, and I think she just needs to kind of get updated a little bit, and we'll get her on a dot and see how that goes for her. It's very interesting because if you've listened to the podcast for any amount of time, you know that it wasn't too long ago. Probably, 4 years ago, 4 years ago, I was anti-red dot. I really was. I fought it here on the podcast. I know we had lots of discussions, me and the guys, and I also talked in depth about it on the radio. I pushed back hard against it, until finally I got one. And I religiously started shooting my firearm with on it. In fact, I have a dot on my carry gun right now, and it is it's fast. I like them. I love them. In fact, I love the dots. Pretty interesting. I was sent a clip by Magnum, and he always sends me fun little clips that he finds, and I found this referring to the red dot.
Absolute plus, double plus. If you're using iron sights in 2023, you're gun Amish. I said it. Now listen, I'm only serious. If you want to use iron sights, that's totally cool. You know, like I say, you're just gun Amish. 1987 was enough technology. Like, we're good. I'm kind of joking, but the dot is the negatives can be easily overcome and the positives are significant.
So are you gun Amish? Are you gun Amish? Have you broke into it's been out for a while now, but have you broke into the red dot? The red dot revolution, that's what I'm going to call it. The red dot revolution. I love my red dot. I really do. And I think that if you go to buy one, I think you need to really look into getting a quality red dot. I'm not a big fan of some of like the Sig Romeo, however you want to say it, the Romeo. I'm not a big fan of that red dot. I've just seen them fall apart. I'm not a fan of the Crimson Trace red dots. I've seen them not last, and I've seen them fall apart and get destroyed and everything else. I run the Holosun. I really like the Holosuns. I know they got bigger and better, different brands out there as well, even better than the Holosuns, but I think the Holosun is where a person should start. I think you're going to have a pretty good luck, pretty good experience with a Holosun, and you could just, that should be the entry point to red dots, and it's a good red dot. If that's where you want to stay, by all means, gosh, stay with that, and stay with the Holosun. That's what I got. That's what I'm happy with. But there's bigger and better, and you could just only go up from there. But I think you'll have a good experience. And red dot, honestly, red dot is where it's at. It really is. Holsters now are cut for red dots. Typically in most holsters, you don't even have to order them cut for a red dot. They just make them now, so you could slap a red dot on there if you wanted to. That's just the way that it is. And speaking of holsters, I still don't have a holster for my my HK, my P30 yet. I don't know why I've been putting off buying a holster for it. I just have. I'm not sure why. There's a local guy that makes holsters, and I think he probably does a pretty good job. Well, there's two local guys. One guy kind of has faded out his business, and that's fine. And the other guy is kind of a friend of mine that he makes his holsters, but we have a little disagreement going on, so I probably am not going to grab a holster from him. So I went online, I started poking around, and of course I want an appendix holster. I need to get two holsters. I need to get an appendix carry holster, then I also need to get an that's an IWB, AIWB, and I also need to get an outside the waistband or an OWB Kydex holster for it as well. So the first one is going to be the AIWB, and I think I found a place. It's called Grayman Solutions, and I'm just kind of stepping outside the box here. And it's a company I've never purchased from before, and I haven't seen a whole lot of them out there. I know I follow a guy on TikTok that he has one of these holsters, and you know what? To a certain extent, Kydex is Kydex is Kydex is Kydex. It really is, right? Get a good Kydex holster, and how you can't really vary, clips, attachments, that kind of thing, but it is what it is. In fact, I got all the equipment here to make them, but I am not doing a good job. So I'll end up purchasing one, I'm sure. So I'm going to think I might go with this Shadow AIWB. It's got the little, I don't know what they call it, little sidecar or something for a spare mag, which I'll probably take that off right away. I just don't like all that crap there. I'd rather carry my spare mag in my pocket, and I forget even who makes these. They make a little like magnetic clip you carry your spare mag in, and it just kind of clips to your pocket. I'd rather do that. I like that one a lot better than the sidecar. I think, I'll give it a try. We'll see what it's like. But got to get that order. Got to get that here. I need to practice some. Draw with that P30. I'm not actually carrying the P30 yet, and the big reason is because I don't have a holster for it yet. And guess what? I have not, because I don't have a holster. I haven't practiced the draw with it. I've shot it quite a bit, but I haven't practiced my draw with it. So I'm going to just hold off. I'll get this holster, and then maybe here in the next month or so, I can actually start carrying that gun. I'm still packing around my old VP9, which is fine. It's still a good gun, but it's not my new one. And, you got to have your new one. Throughout all the classes that I have here, I get to talking to a lot of people all the time, and I got these women's groups and these men's groups, and they come in and as they filter in, and we're waiting for everyone to show up for class, we have a discussion. Usually sometimes it's just about funny stuff, sometimes it's about everyday stuff, sometimes it's just about politics, right, and guns and firearms and that kind of thing. And someone actually pointed this out the other day, and my memory's not that great, and I can't remember who actually said this to me. In fact, I'm thinking right now, do I remember? I do not. But they actually said, here we are. We have, I know who it was. It was one of the ladies from my women's group. She said, I started off, her and her daughter-in-laws are taking some classes from me. And then they had some gift certificates they got a while back for like a Christmas gift. And they used them, and then they decided they wanted to sign up for their own personal women's shooting group. And so they got a hold of me. We worked out a price. We worked out a number of classes for them and kind of figured out which direction they wanted to go. And so they've been continually doing this. And it was funny because they showed up on Saturday, and they were chatting with me. And the mother-in-law, she was like, we started doing this just because, our husbands all, my sons, their husbands, they all go out and they shoot and they have a good time. And we wanted to do that a little bit too. And we essentially signed up at the very beginning as just something fun to do, just kind of a girls' day out. We come here, we learn a little, we shoot, we have some fun, we have some laughs, we go to lunch, and then we go back home. And she goes, and we still do that, but it's turned into something else now. She goes, as we watch the news, as we watch what's going on in our country, every day things are changing. Every day someone's getting shot, mugged, whatever. Even locally here, there's just crime every day. There's car chases every day down here. I mean, you would think that I lived in some giant city, like I lived in Spokane, or I lived in Portland, or I lived in Boise, or something like that, which I don't. But man, I'd say everything is just ramping up around here like crazy. And she's like, it started out as a fun thing to do. Now we're looking at this as carrying a gun. And I know a lot of people carry firearms every day, but this is for, coming from someone who is outside, who is kind of new to firearms. And she said carrying a gun could become a normal thing, like almost not required by law, but like a required thing that you just do when you leave the house. She says the way the world is getting, and these attacks, these events, these mass shootings, these whatever, evil is just everywhere. In fact, she mentioned to me, I have a phrase I have on my hat for my that I've made for my business, and it says evil exists, therefore I carry. And I created that like 10 years ago, right? And she goes, man, Todd, she goes, that is more prevalent now. That's more of an important statement now than it was 10 years ago when you came up with that statement, when you coined that phrase, right? She goes, evil exists and therefore I carry. She goes, evil does exist, and evil is becoming more and more and more rampant. And she goes, I look around and I look at my daughter-in-laws and they go shopping and they go to their activities, and my granddaughters are at school and their mom's here, they're taking them everywhere. And she goes, man, I tell you what, evil is out there, and it's just getting worse and worse and worse, and it's getting more important that people learn how to defend themselves, right? That people are woken up to the fact that evil does exist, and it's just a matter of time before it, rears its ugly head. I mean, and that's what happens, right? It's just getting worse and worse and worse, and it's time for people to wake up and take note. And just quit sleeping on this, because it's not it's not going to get better. It's not going to go away anytime soon. And we have to be prepared. You have to be prepared to protect your friends, your family, your loved ones, yourself, right? I see it where I go and run. I go to kind of an off-beaten path place to run out on some trails. And I'm down there, and there's more and more graffiti. There's more and more destruction of like the restrooms that are there. And that used to not be there. I see more and more people sleeping and camping on the side of the road, abandoned vehicles. There's a gentleman that drove down there and took his life not too long ago, committed, shot himself, that kind of stuff. That's becoming more and more prevalent in our society, and we just need to be aware of it, and we need to be prepared. And it's kind of a scary world that we live in. So I don't know. It's just kind of something to think about. I mean, if you've got, a wife, if you got a daughter or friends, or just even a daughter that's going off to college. I know right now there is a bunch of graduations going on, man. People graduating from high school, right? And they're gonna come home for a year, and they're getting prepared, and they're gonna leave here toward the fall, toward the end of summer, and they're gonna head off to college, man. And prepare your daughters, dads, moms, prepare your kids, right? Your kids, but I'm going to talk about the daughters specifically. Prepare your daughters, right? There's people out there that want to prey on them. I mean, just here in northern Idaho, we had this quadruple homicide, right? I mean, this guy, this crazy man. In fact, they just announced like his trial, I think yesterday. It's not going to be till October, and he's pleading not guilty. But I mean, he broke in right up at U of I. He broke in to this house somehow, and he killed all these people. I mean, how do you do that, right? They're up there going to school. They never thought this would happen to them, right? This kind of hit home, especially here in the state of Idaho. It's time to be prepared. I'm telling you, it's time to be prepared. You never know when, you never know where. And it's just, there's an uneasiness out there, an uneasiness in the air. They're just uneasy. They don't like what's going on. We got the elections coming up pretty soon. We're talking about who's going to be running for president. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be fighting back about the election and about voting and about everything else. And it's a tinderbox, man, and it's waiting to go up. It really is. It's a tinderbox, and it's waiting to go up at any moment. And it's time to just kind of be prepared. Don't be like those people, right? Remember when all the riots and stuff were going on? I mean, these people changed for the better, but they had all these riots going on. And these people are like, I don't need a handgun. I don't need guns. The police will be there. And then there was people that were living in those areas where the riots were. And what happened? They told the police to stand down. They told law enforcement to stand down, said, we're not coming in to help you. And these people that were anti-firearm, anti-this, anti-that, guess what? They went and bought a firearm. They learned how to protect themselves because they needed it. Now, it was there in case they needed it, but they kind of waited too long, right? That was their eye-opener experience. That was their awakening. It's time to go and become awakened before something bad like that happens. Be prepared, right? Do you put a little money in a savings account? Do you put away a little food storage, right? Do you teach your kids, right? Do you keep a couple cans extra cans of gasoline at the house, right? In case what? In case prices go up, you keep all your vehicles topped off with gas, and in case fuel prices go up. It's just being prepared. Be prepared, because it's when you need it and you don't have it, that's too late. That's too late. All you can do at that point is pray you make it through it, and if you come out the other side, you'll be a better person, and you can get more prepared for whatever might be coming your way. So there you go. That's my soapbox for today. We got a few more things to talk about, and then I'm probably going to wrap this thing up. It's going to be a real short one, but it's what you get today. Okay, I have another gal that another lady that has been taking classes from me, and she's actually the one that has the Walther PDP-F. Nice little gun. I really do like it. She was going to shoot that, and then her husband was like, tried to get her to shoot his Glocks, and she's like, no, I don't like them. I want to get the gun that fits me. So she went and found this, and she's been shooting it. She's been doing absolutely fantastic at it. We've been working her through a series of drills in each class that she shows up to really strengthen her fundamentals. And then we're just about ready. She schedules another class, and we're just about ready to get into some of the, I mean, it's all fun. You're all shooting, but getting into the really fun stuff, multiple targets, that kind of stuff, target acquisitions, shooting faster, controlled pairs, that kind of thing. We're going to get her into some real fun stuff pretty soon. And her goal is she wants to try out competing. She wants to go local, go over here to the county next to us, go over to their range, and she wants to possibly try competing down the road, and she wants to get a little more familiar and know the basics and get a little more proficient, that kind of thing. But she wants to start competing, and I think that's a phenomenal goal. And so I will keep you guys. In fact, maybe depending, I'll have to ask her. Maybe I can get her on the podcast with us to just kind of talk to us about what she's got going on and what are her thoughts and what kind of made her go this direction. I think it's a fantastic goal, and I'm helping her out the best way that I know how. In fact, she is the first student that took a class from me. And what did she say? She goes, this is going to sound like an odd request, but can you send me home with homework? What? Nobody does their homework. Really? You want homework? She goes, yeah. And I was like, where have you been my entire life? I try to get students to go home and do homework. I try to get them to dry fire. I try to get them to do these things, and they don't do it. And it doesn't happen all the time. But some of the students that will come back for multiple classes, sometimes it's kind of like starting over again when they get here. Because you have to continually go and shoot. You have to continually go and train and practice. Develop those neural pathways. Create that muscle memory. And that's how you improve over time. So I was just giddy as I was like a fat kid in a candy shop. I was like, holy cow, really? You want homework? Let me give you homework. Let me give you homework. And so she was here on Saturday, and then Sunday I went ahead and I made some videos for her and texted her this homework that she can work on at home and with her firearm. And I think she'll do it too, because she asked for it. So I'm really excited to see kind of her progression when she comes back next, and we'll kind of see what happens and kind of how it goes from there. And I really hope she goes and competes and has a good, safe time. And I just do. I don't know. I don't know what her goals are when it comes to doing the competition. I think she just wants to go and have a good time and enjoy herself. And I think that's exactly what she'll do. And she did promise me, though. She did promise me if she starts doing really good that old Patriot Defense, I'm gonna get her some swag. I'm gonna get her some gear. She'll be repping the Patriot Defense hat and whatnot. So we'll go down that road and kind of see what happens. There you go, my first sponsored shooter. It's gonna be my first sponsored shooter. I love it. She's got to do really good. So I got to give her lots of homework. So, well, sorry for today. Today's kind of a little short here. I do have a class that I'm actually running to get to, and I didn't get up Monday morning and do this podcast like I wanted to. Instead, it is Tuesday mid morning, and I'm putting this together right now. So there you go. It's a little short. It's really short. I always say that all the time, but this is probably the shortest one I've probably ever done. So it is what it is. There you go. I'll get a longer one out. I got to get the guys back together. I'm looking around here, and I call and talk to old Tarver, Cajun Cowboys. I got to get back out there and do a podcast. He's working and I'm working. We got to get the gang back together again, man. This is, I don't know. Maybe I could lure him with pizza. Maybe I better bring we'll eat pizza and do the podcast. That'll sound good. That'll sound good in your guys' headphones, won't it? We'll have a pizza party and do the podcast. That would be chaotic. So anyhow, you guys, I tell you what, stay safe, go out, enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. I've got a class on Saturday. I can't believe that people are actually signing up for class on Memorial Day weekend, but they sure are. So I'm looking forward to that. But you guys go out, have a safe Memorial Day weekend. Anyone that might be in school that is graduating or getting out for the summer, you guys have a great summer. Go out, go camping, spend some time outdoors, go shooting, sling a little lead down range, go buy a new gun. Go pay for some training, order some ammo, do something. Let me know about all your adventures. You can call me, you can text me anytime. Area code 620-794-6223. That's area code 620-794-6223. Follow us on all the social medias. We are on the Facebook. We are on the Instagram. We are on the TikTok. And probably some more that I don't even remember. But you could share this podcast with your family and friends. That would be absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it's free. It's free. It's free to sign up. It's free. Well, I'm signing up. It's free to subscribe. And that's what I need. I need people to subscribe, and I need people to be involved in this. And that doesn't leave me in the clear. This guy right here, me, I got to get out and I got to do one of these things every weekend. Got to become more disciplined. So I will talk to you guys later. Bye.